My name is Evelyn, and my corner office on the 50th floor has a view that could make a queen feel humble. As a founding partner at a successful venture capital firm, I deal in power. I decide which dreams get funded and which die on the vine. But for all the success, for all the tailored suits and expensive watches, a part of me was still that skinny, terrified 5-year-old girl cowering in the hallways of Northwood High. And the monster in those hallways had a name. Brenda Harrison! She was the classic high school tyrant, the star cheerleader, with a cruel smile and a pack of giggling hyenas who followed her everywhere. She made my life a living hell. It wasn't just the casual shoves into lockers or the taunts, it was the calculated cruelty. The worst was the science fair. My project, a complex robotics prototype I had spent 6 months building, was my ticket to a state scholarship. The night before the judging, Brenda and her friends broke into the gym and smashed it to pieces, leaving a note that said, "Nerd Toys." I never got the scholarship. That moment didn't just break my project, it almost broke me. 15 years is a long time. I channeled that humiliation into fuel. I worked harder, studied longer, and outmaneuvered everyone to get to where I am today. I had almost managed to bury the ghost of Brenda Harrison. Almost. And then, one Tuesday afternoon, my assistant's voice came through the intercom. "Miss Thorne, a Miss Brenda Harrison is here for her 2 p.m. pitch meeting." My blood ran cold. I took a deep breath, straightened my blazer, and said, "Send her in." The woman who walked into my office was a faded, worn-out photograph of the girl I remembered. The athletic build had softened into a paunch. Her confident swagger was replaced by a nervous, shuffling energy. She was clutching a briefcase, her eyes darting around my office with a desperate hope. She didn't recognize me at all. She launched into a rambling, nervous pitch for her struggling logistics company. She needed a significant investment to avoid bankruptcy. She stumbled over her words, her hands shaking slightly as she pointed to her charts. She was drowning, and I was the only person on the shore with a life raft. I let her finish, listening patiently as she laid her entire pathetic, failing dream at my feet. She looked at me, her face slick with a nervous sweat. "So, Miss Thorne, what do you think?" I leaned back in my chair, steepling my fingers. I let the silence hang in the air, watching her squirm. After a long moment, I spoke, my voice calm and even. "The business plan has some potential, Brenda," I said, using her first name for the first time. She flinched. "But I have one question for you." "Anything," she said, her voice cracking with desperation. I leaned forward, my eyes locking onto hers. "Do you still enjoy breaking things you don't understand?" I watched as the color drained from her face. I saw her eyes widen as she finally, truly, looked at me at the face of the girl whose future she had tried to smash to pieces in a high school gym 15 years ago. The desperation in her eyes was instantly replaced by something else. Pure, unadulterated terror. The silence in the room was so thick I could hear the frantic beat of her heart. The terror in Brenda Harrison's eyes was more satisfying than any financial victory I had ever had. She just sat there, mouth slightly agape, the broken pieces of her memory finally assembling into a picture of me. Evelyn Thorne?" she stammered, her voice a hoarse whisper. I don't believe it. You're the woman whose life raft you're begging for." "Yes," I said, my voice dangerously soft. "Funny how the tables turn, isn't it?" She started to babble, a pathetic stream of apologies and excuses. "Evelyn, I was just a kid, a stupid, arrogant kid. I didn't know what I was doing. The science fair, it was a horrible prank. I'm so sorry." "A prank?" I cut her off, my voice sharp as a razor. "A prank doesn't cost someone a scholarship, Brenda. A prank doesn't make a 15-year-old girl wonder if she's better off not existing at all. What you did was calculated. It was cruel, and you enjoyed it." I let her sit in her misery, watching her shrink under the weight of her past. The power in that room was a tangible thing, a current flowing directly from her desperation to my quiet, controlled anger. I had her. Her business, her future, her family's financial security, it was all in my hands. I could do to her life what she had done to my prototype. Smash it into a million unrecognizable pieces. Please, Evelyn, she begged, tears welling in her eyes. I have a family, a husband, 2 kids. My house is on the line. Don't do this because of some stupid high school grudge. A grudge? I laughed, a cold, empty sound. This isn't a grudge. This is a business meeting. And from a business perspective, your company is a mess. Your projections are weak, your market share is shrinking, and you, Brenda, are a demonstrably poor leader. Why should I invest in a failing company run by a woman I know to be a bully and a cheat? I stood up and walked to the window, looking out over the city that I had conquered, the city that had almost crushed her. This was the moment I had unknowingly been working towards for 15 years. The moment of absolute, perfect revenge. I could deny her funding, watch her company implode, and know that I had finally, truly, won. It was everything I ever wanted. I turned back to her. She looked like a broken woman, her face pale, her hands trembling. She was waiting for the final blow, the twist of the knife. The silence stretched on, and in that silence, I saw not the monster from my past, but a pathetic, terrified, middle-aged woman on the brink of losing everything. And seeing her like that, it felt different than I thought it would. It didn't feel like victory. It felt empty. I walked back to my desk and sat down, the feeling of emptiness still lingering. I looked at Brenda, this ghost from my past, and I saw the choice before me. I could become a monster just like her, using my power to inflict pain. Or I could be the woman I had spent 15 years becoming, someone better. Your business is failing because of you, Brenda, I said, my voice now devoid of anger, filled only with a clinical coldness. You were a charismatic leader when you had a crowd of followers in high school. In the real world, you lack the discipline and the integrity to build something that lasts. She flinched, expecting the final rejection. However, I continued, the core concept of your logistics network, it has merit. The infrastructure is weak, but the idea is sound. A flicker of hope ignited in her eyes. So, here is my decision, I said, leaning forward. My firm will invest. We will save your company. Brenda started to cry, silent tears of pure, unadulterated relief. Oh God, Evelyn, thank you, she sobbed. Thank you. I won't let you down. I swear. I'm not finished, I said, cutting her off. She fell silent immediately. I am investing in the idea, not in you. So, here are my non-negotiable conditions. First, you will step down as CEO. My firm will appoint a new one, someone who can actually run a business. You will stay on as a regional manager at a reduced salary. You will learn what it means to work, not just to rule. She nodded meekly, her face pale. She had saved her company, but lost her throne. Second, I said, my voice hardening slightly, 10% of the company's net profits, in perpetuity, will be donated to a national anti-bullying foundation. Furthermore, you, personally, will be required to volunteer at their local Chapter 1 Saturday every month. You will speak to kids. You will tell them what you did and what it does to people. You will use your miserable past to try and build a better future for someone else. She stared at me, her eyes wide with a mixture of horror and dawning understanding. She had been saved, but she was being sentenced. She had to confront her own monstrosity, again and again, for years to come. She had no choice. I accept the terms, she whispered. A broken woman. After she left, I stood by my window again, looking out at the endless city. The burning desire for revenge that had fueled me for so long was gone. In its place was a quiet, profound peace.